Hi, my name is Nika, and this video is going to be a roller coaster. Happy Saturday, everyone. Let me explain to you what's going on this weekend. So I've been working on the Elisabeth blouse by PetiteKnit since October 2023. It is currently mid-January 2024, and well, let me just show you. This is how much I have done. I am not even done with the body. I have not even started either of the two sleeves, and I've been working on this for 3 months now. So it's time we do something about this. Honestly, I'm oppressed. It took me this long to get bored with this project, but we finally hit a wall. At this point, I just want to make something else. I want to move on to other projects that I have in mind. I want to knit something else so badly, but I know myself. I know that right now, if I put this blouse on hold, if I put it on pause, if I decide to come back to it later, there's no way in hell I'm coming back to it. I'm never going to finish this project. So knowing myself, the only way we're going to get out of this situation is if I just cram in as much knitting as I can and I try to finish this as soon as possible. And that's exactly what we're doing this weekend. So buckle up, because you're joining me for the ride. You're joining me as I'm trying to finish this blouse. Now I'm going to be realistic about this. There's no way I'm able to finish this blouse this weekend. I haven't finished the body, haven't even done either of the sleeves. This is knit on very small needles. I think it's like 3 millimeters. I'm not finishing it this weekend, but I do not have much planned, and I'm thinking if I can just knit the whole weekend, the whole day today, the whole day tomorrow, I can at least finish the body and make some good progress on a sleeve. So this is my plan. It's about 1 p.m. right now. I know I should have started this earlier, but here we are. I had my lunch. I got in all the energy I needed, made a big cup of coffee, and we're gonna get this done. The plan is, today I'm gonna try to finish the body. I have about 5 centimeters left of the body, and then I have to do the rib, which is quite a lot, but I'm thinking we can do it. So that tomorrow I can get started on the sleeve and make a lot of progress on that. Hopefully the sleeves will go up faster because, they're smaller circumference, but that's notoriously everyone's last tour being like, I only have the sleeves left when sleeves are actually like a third of your project. They actually take longer than you usually expect, but that is our plan. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so before I start, I want to measure how much of the body I have done so that we can have a starting point, and I'll also put a marker at the beginning to mark where I first started this crazy journey. So let's see. It says to measure your body starting from mid-back, not including the collar. So I have about 41 centimeters done. And I believe for size M, which is what I'm making, for size medium, the body has to be 46 centimeters. So as I said, 5 more centimeters to go. I am going to mark my starting point. So I'll mark the stitch that I'm currently on right now. There we go. That is now marked. Now another thing I want to do before we start is get some wrist support, wrist protection. Actually, before I started knitting, I learned how to crochet, and I crocheted quite a few pieces. And during the times when I was crocheting a lot, I used to experience some wrist pain. It has thankfully gone away now because I don't knit or crochet as much. But because I'm going to be knitting this whole weekend, I want to be proactive and I want to protect my wrist just in case. So I'll put on this sort of supporter for my wrist. I'll show it to you. So this is the protector that I have. It's just like a compression glove thing for your wrist. So this is coming on, and we're now in serious mode, so let's start knitting. It's currently 13:37, and for the next 30 plus hours, we're gonna try to squeeze in as much knitting time as possible. So let's get started. So I thought we could chat for a little bit while I'm working on the Elisabeth blouse. If that's not something you're into, please feel free to skip this part of the video. I'll use chapters in this video so you can always skip to the next part. So I wanted to chat to you a little bit about, well, life lately. I told you that I started this Elisabeth blouse back in October. It's January now, so it's been like around 3 months, right? For 3 months, you know, I would expect myself in usual conditions to be able to finish this project faster, but last year was a roller coaster for me. So I graduated with my master's degree back in February, and then I was without a job during the spring season, which was quite stressful. You know, I was job hunting, but it wasn't necessarily easy as an expat living somewhere else, and going home wasn't really an option at the time. So actually at that time I did a lot of knitting. Some of the projects that I made last year were done during spring. So that was a fun time, but also very mentally exhausting. And then finally in summer I got a job. So I moved cities and I got the offer very quickly. So I had to move towns and move places very fast. So for the first 2.5 months, I was staying temporarily at one place, and then finally in October, my boyfriend and I, we moved into this new place that I absolutely adore. I love it here so much. So we moved in October, and with the move and me still being relatively new at the company that I work at, it was quite hectic, so I wasn't really able to put in a lot of time into my knitting, but I feel like I have so much to be grateful for. Last year, it started out on a very high note, then went very low, then went very high again. Just a very transformative year. I think that's how I would describe it, transformative. It truly was 2023 for me. So tell me about your 2023. How did your year go? Did you have any big events? If you could describe 2023 with one word, how did it go for you? I'm curious to hear that. For me, the word was transformative. Please leave your word down in the comments. I'd love to hear about your year. And also leave a comment and tell me, what do you want out of 2024? Do you have any plans, any goals? I'm truly so excited for this year. I'm very happy that I'm finally pursuing things that I wanted to try for a very long time. Also, I'm really curious, what do you guys do when you're knitting? Do you just sit with yourself and maybe like meditate? Do you watch TV shows? Do you listen to music? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you maybe read books? I heard that a lot of people either read audiobooks, or some people can actually teach themselves to knit without looking at what they're knitting. I think I've tried it before, and like as I'm trying it now, I think I can do it. It's a little more tricky and a little slower, but I could definitely get used to that. But how do you spend your time? I mean, I usually just watch something, but I'm trying to expand my perspectives a little bit. So if you have any suggestions for maybe books that I could read or listen to, any TV shows or movies or documentaries, please do share those with me. I am very curious. Oh, also, I wanted to ask you guys for some advice. So I'm quite new to knitting still, and so far I've relied on packages for projects. So when you basically get a pattern and then you get yarn with it as well. And the times when I've tried to substitute yarn have not gone very well. Do you know of any resources that would help me or someone else learn about different yarns and how to substitute yarn for patterns? Because as I live here in Korea, I don't usually have access to yarns that are mentioned in a lot of like Western patterns. So I'm really seeking some guidance here on the art of yarn substitution and just understanding yarn categories, how yarn works. There's got to be some information online, some guidelines, maybe some videos about this. So if you know of any resources, please do share those with me. I desperately need the help. So as for this weekend, I believe it's currently like around 3 p.m. Yeah, maybe that's a good time to do a check-in. So it is about 3 p.m. right now, and I started at around 1:40 and pretty much didn't take mostly any breaks. And this is how much I have done. So let's measure that. So it took me an hour and 20 minutes. Right now I was chatting with you, so I was knitting a bit slower, but with no excuses. In an hour and 20 minutes, I have done, let me see if I can show you. I have done about 1.5 centimeters. I needed to get 5 centimeters done, so I did about 1.5. I still need to get 3.5 done. Oof. It is still gonna take me like maybe 4 hours to finish the length of the body, and then I still have to do the rib. Ooh, we have a long way to go today, don't we? So it's about 3 p.m. right now. I do have an appointment for a haircut very close to my home at 4 p.m. So I'm just gonna shortly run out there and get a haircut, and that's it. And then we just knit the whole time. Hi, I'm back from the hairdresser. My head feels lighter, which is great. What's not great is that my hair appointment was at 4, which took like half an hour. It is now about 5:30. So I stopped by Daiso, which is like the Korean equivalent of dollar store, I want to say. And Daiso is trouble. Whenever I go to Daiso, I get so distracted. I just love shopping there. I snapped myself back into reality, being like, this is not the time for me to be shopping at Daiso. I'm not even close to finishing the body on the Elisabeth blouse, and it's already getting dark outside. So I ran back home, and let's get back to knitting, shall we? So it's my check-in from 8:30 at night on Saturday, and I have about 3.5 centimeters of knit that I did today. Just 3.5 centimeters, really? I'm buckling up for a long night. It's 8:30 right now, so I'm thinking I can still squeeze in at least 3 hours of knitting. So at least I can definitely finish the last part of the knit before the rib. This is where we started. This is how much I have done. I need a bit more, around 1.5 centimeters until I can start the rib. And I'm thinking, I can definitely finish the 1.5 centimeters soon. I know my initial plan was to do both this and the ribbing within today. I'm not going to be able to finish the ribbing today, but I want to at least get started on it and do as much as I can. And then the goal for tomorrow will be to finish the ribbing and hopefully get started on one of the sleeves. Let's see how it goes. But anyway, I'm usually a night owl anyway, so I know that I can get a lot of the knitting done right now. I'm binge watching one of the TV series that I enjoy, Virgin River on Netflix, so I'm catching up with 2 seasons that I missed. So it's been quite enjoyable, but definitely going much slower than I expected.
is now 9:40 and I finally finished those 5 centimeters and just started the first row of rib. I just checked the pattern and I believe the rib has to be done for 6 centimeters. So there is no way I'm finishing the rib today, but I'm gonna try to do as many rows as possible, and then I'll check in with you, and hopefully we'll be close to the 6 centimeter mark. It is Sunday and it's about 12 o'clock. Last night I stayed up quite late to work on the rib, and look at how much I have done. So this gold marker is where we started last morning, and I finished the stockinette body, and then I worked on the rib, and I have about 2 centimeters done, and I need to get about 6 centimeters until I can call it finished. So still quite a long progress to go. My initial plan to finish the body yesterday and work on the sleeve today is clearly not happening, but I am determined to finish the rib and finish the body today. I don't know if I'll be able to start on the sleeve, but we shall see. Today is a very gloomy day. I think it's supposed to rain, so I think I'll just stay inside, get some more knitting done, and just spend a cozy day knitting. I'll catch you up on my progress when I've made some.
This is going to be my last check-in from this video. It's currently Sunday, just after 10 p.m. and let me show you how much progress I've done. This is how the blouse is currently looking. If you look at the bottom, I have almost finished the rib and I just need to do the bind off now. If you look back here, you see that this golden marker is where we started. So since yesterday morning until right now, I was able to do about 5 centimeters of the stockinette part, and then I was able to do 6 centimeters of rib, and I just did 2 rows in double knitting, and now I just need to do the Italian bind off, and I will be finally done with the body. Now, in the beginning of the video, I said that I wanted to finish the body yesterday and then start working on the sleeves today, and well, the speed of my knitting is apparently twice slower than I was anticipating, but I'm still very happy that I'm able to finish the body this weekend. That being said, the hardest part is still in front of me. I don't know about you, but for me personally, bind-offs are the most frustrating part. They always take the longest time and they always end up like too loose. For some reason, after it's done, the bind off or the end of the rib is too wide and it kind of frills. So if you have any tips on how to fix that, any tips for how to make the Italian bind off tight enough, please do share those with me. I'm desperately in need of some advice on how to finish the rib nicely. I hope to do the bind off still tonight before I go to bed, and then hopefully tomorrow morning when it's a bit brighter outside, I can finish you the finished body and maybe try it on and see how it fits, so that I can finally start working on the sleeves, which I hope will work up faster because, you know, of course, they're much smaller in circumference. Some insights from this journey. I was happy to knit for 2 days straight, honestly. It wasn't challenging or straining on me, which I was sort of nervous about, but I found it very enjoying. I was just catching up on some TV shows that I haven't seen in a while, so that was nice. My wrist is thankfully fine. My fingers are a little bit tired, but nothing serious. There's no pain whatsoever. If anything, I'm just a little bit bored from working the same stitch over and over again. And because this is worked on 3mm needles and the body is quite wide, then each row was taking me a really long time to finish. I think I didn't precisely measure it, but I kind of was checking the time as I was knitting, and I think each row would take me around 10 minutes, which is a long time. So if anything, I'm just a little bit bored from working on this, but hopefully once I push through the bind off and once I start the sleeves, each row will take a shorter time. So I think this weekend, me pushing myself to get as much progress as I could on this blouse and not giving up on it was really necessary, and filming it for you guys kept me accountable, because otherwise I am like 50% sure I would have left this blouse unfinished and in my whips pile for a long time. So thank you for joining me on this roller coaster. I hope this gave you maybe some insight into how much knitting generally takes. I mean, for me, it definitely showed me that it's taken me much longer than I anticipated. That being said, of course, I will keep working on this blouse, and hopefully I can update you all very soon with a finished object, and then I can finally start on some of my 2024 knitting plans. Anyway, I'll insert some clips here of me finishing the bind off and then showing you the blouse tomorrow morning, but this will be my last check-in. Thank you once again for joining me on this journey of trying to finish my Elisabeth blouse and knitting with me this weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm planning to make many more knitting related and other videos in the future, so please do consider subscribing if that's something that sounds fun to you and that you would like to see from me again. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye!